write a passage.
Put this into 6.
If all angles in a triangle...
In May 2007, we filmed the lives of 4 Year 8 pupils at Hove Park Secondary School near Brighton. Robert, Louise, Bradley and Jack. The 4 documentaries can be seen on the Teachers TV website.
Today was different.
We asked a number of leading practitioners to watch the films and give us their frank opinions about the issues raised by this unique insight into the learning experience. This programme focuses on the critical issue of student aspirations and how teachers need to continually strive to raise them.
12.
Guys, if you are ready to move on to scene 4...
I think it's a family of fantasies.
A family of fantasy.
I just think they all need to raise their game a bit. They just need to be, there needs to be more pace, more excitement, more stretch, more sense of urgency. Quite a lot, not all, but quite a few of the lessons we saw were quite relaxed.
These 6 main parts.
There was very little sense of really having to do things now. You've got 30 seconds to do this. I want to know what you think. You've now got a minute to think about this, or 2 minutes to talk to the person next to you and then feedback. And you just didn't get that sense of urgency about it all.
Please.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Jack, could you take that off now, thanks?
Jack was insolent to his French teacher the moment that he walked in the lesson. He said, sure, in this kind of dismissive way.
Can you click on
I'm fine,
please?
right? I'm fine.
Jack, please click.
Now, it was a lesson which asked very little of the pupils. It was pitched at way too low a level, and it's, again, further evidence of this absolute nonsense that infests the education system, that if you chuck kids in front of a computer, then they'll learn.
Are you going to do your work or not, Jack?
Nope.
You're not going to do your work, OK? Take your things and go to room 37, and there's your worksheet, please. Now, it's a shame.
The learning objective is clear, but for Jack, going onto a website and downloading information about vocabulary is not his thing. It also is below his ability. His frustration comes out in argument, rudeness, lack of respect, and the teacher has only one way to deal with it, because that's the way the school does it, is to send him out of the classroom.
I don't actually learn anything in our class. It's all too easy.
The work was set significantly under Jack's ability level, and so consequently he's absolutely bored and he deliberately gets himself kicked out. Now, you know, the school needs to match work to ability.
There's a lot of research evidence that shows that pupils live up to what's expected of them. If you don't expect very much, you don't get very much. Not just pupils, but teachers as well. So I think having high expectations, you can't even begin to compromise on that.
I don't have a role model. I don't really want to be like a certain person when I'm older. I don't look at life like that. It'll just lead to disaster and disappointment.
Going to school without any idea about where it's taking you is like queuing up for a holiday with no idea where the holiday's going to take you to. You wouldn't stand in the queue for very long. But if you know you're standing there for a free ticket you've won to Trinidad and Tobago, you will stand there as long as it takes to get through the queue, to get on the plane, to have the holiday you dream of. So I think this is Jack's issue, and when he comes out with comments such as it's not safe to have role models there to disappoint you, I wonder if that's happened to him elsewhere in his life.
I would characterise the majority of the teaching that we've seen in those films as missed opportunities. I got the feeling at the end of too many of lessons the children were bored, they certainly weren't tired, they hadn't stretched themselves, they might have stretched the teacher, and they weren't wanting to come back for more, not often enough. So I know it's terribly easy to say all those things, and teachers will think, oh, well, it's all very well for her to say that, but within their own school, they've got the seeds.
Your target is a level 6, which you're definitely on, OK? So at the end of year 9, you should be aiming for a level 7. Yeah? Go for it. Go. No lates with your homeworks. Not one late. Wow, all year.
She's a pretty solid level 5 at the moment, which is the national average.
Right.
But really, to end up in top set next year, you really need to be getting at least level 6. But on the whole, she's pretty well behaved, pretty conscientious.
Let's dispense with this and everything's lovely, because it's not lovely in Louise's cases, and go deeply into the technical detail of the subject and tell Mum exactly what Louise needs to do.
I really like football, and just 3 weeks ago, about that, I went to Holland, and Holland was so good, and it was like, and we could learn stuff from all the Dutch kids and that.
Can we find something online, Reagan? Is it in here? You went for sport and leisure, did you?
Was that Amsterdam?
Yes, that's Amsterdam. I've been there.
It wouldn't be in Amsterdam. Is that an Amsterdam book?
No, it's the Holland book.
It's cold, you know. Almost.
Robert was able to write about Holland, but unfortunately he wasn't able to write about, or didn't choose to write about, his own experiences. He wrote about Holland from a book. And it seemed a real shame that there was been a missed opportunity there for Robert to talk about his own personal experiences of Holland, the people of Holland, and what Holland society is like, rather than get it from a book. And there seemed to be this missed opportunity there to recognise that students often do have their own take on things, and the more they're able to express that, the more interesting it is. And maybe if he'd been encouraged to talk about his own experiences of Holland, he would have suddenly found some more written fluency.
I thought that was in very sharp contrast with the French test that he'd done a little earlier, where he was in a one-to-one relationship with his teacher in the corridor.
Qu'est-ce que tu as fait hier?
Hier, nous avons joué au foot.
Très bien, super. Et tu aimes le sport?
J'ai joué au foot.
Oui.
I thought he demonstrated a very good level of French speaking in the past tense, future tense. He was able to ask a question.
Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire?
Demain, je voudrais aller au cinéma.
He was being extended, he was being told by the teacher exactly what he needed to do to get to the next level.
Level 5 is 2 tenses, level 6 is 3 tenses. So you're approaching level 6 with your speaking. You've asked me questions, you've responded well to all my questions, and you've got 3 tenses in there. So it's really, really, really good stuff.
I thought Rob was a fantastic little geezer with some self-esteem problems, in that if you look at his French oral, the kid can speak French. That's a very, very bright little guy. And yet he tends to regard himself as naughty.
Some of the teachers think I'm really bright and intelligent as well, but some teachers just don't like me. Some of the teachers think I'm naughty and they don't like naughty students in their class.
He needs to be in receipt of a bit more praise. The French teacher who did the oral is obviously a fantastic teacher. However, I would have liked to have seen him go to town a little bit, because Rob's performance in that French oral was really good.
Next lesson was French. That did not go quite so well, because we had a test and I don't like doing tests.
There are times we ask children a question, what would the answer to X be? And they'll tell you, well, I don't know, I can't answer that, I'm not clever enough. And you say to them, well, if you were clever enough, what would the answer be? And they'll often actually give you the right answer. So it's possibly about trying to think about, if I were giving Robert the opportunity to be clever enough, to stand in different shoes, what would his world look like?
Right, guys, I'm going to show you one that I did. OK, this is what you're looking to do yourself. So this is my storyboard.
I think French is a really good lesson because my teacher includes us in everything, and it's just really, really fun because she makes us do all these get up and go exercises.
Are they in the correct order? No. Does aspirations being tiring? No.
The female French teacher should have a serious input into the teaching and learning policy of the school, because she's mastered, OK? And other teachers within that school can learn from her.
I think it's about challenging people, not letting things go, not turning a blind eye, not saying, oh, well, you know, it's Friday, or, you know, it's nearly the end of term. you have to keep on daily at what matters and what's important. And if what's important is high standards, high achievement, then you have to keep at that relentlessly. And that's if you're the head, you have to do it with the staff and with the pupils. If you're a main grade teacher, you have to do it with your pupils. You have to be relentless.
What was it like as a question? Okay,
Teachers need to take individual responsibility for creating those high expectations in their classrooms. When you give young people the opportunity to talk about what helps them to learn and what hinders their learning, they can talk about it very fluently, but they're not often asked about that kind of thing. And together you can create expectations as a group together about this is what we do. We help each other to learn, we support each other, we don't put each other down, we don't laugh when people put their hand up and answer a question and call them a swat.
Whoa, that was good. Why, thank you. Again. One more time. Yay! The nicest thing about school is probably PE. That's probably my favourite subject because the teachers, they're really, really encouraging, and I just think the PE department has a really good skill in getting us together and making us work as a team.
Try it in a different position.
I think that what makes a good lesson, you know, being sort of not friends with your pupils, but, you know, being able to, like, understand and have a laugh and stuff, but also getting it all done.
I used to say to students, look, we go for the A grade. We go for the very top. We go for absolutely, you know, the very best quality that we can. It was about self-respect and actually making it very explicit that they could produce work that would surprise even them.
I think you should have lunatic expectations of your children. And if they think you're mad and they think you're crazy in what you expect of them and you're using language they've never come across before, that is fantastic. They need to really believe that you are truly crazy in what you expect of them and tell them all the time, I have lunatic expectations of you in these lessons. Because amazing, they respond to it. They like the idea. Children do not like to be spoken down to or feel they're having something fitted to them that fits their size.
The way to improve classroom teachers is, one, have 3 or 4 really fantastic teachers in the school, which is kind of a matter of luck, really, and recognise them, reward them, and get them to virally infect the rest of the staff with their fantastic practice.
How do you think that genial means boring?
What is wrong with average teaching? Everything. You know, teaching is not the realm in which you should be average. You know, it's the realm of being inspiring and remarkable. Kids deserve that. Yeah. They deserve the absolute best that any human being can have to offer, so average is totally unacceptable.
You either change the teachers or change the teachers. So either they change to become part of the journey, or they might want to choose to be elsewhere.
The most damaging comment I've heard in schools since I've left headship is people saying, well, what can you expect of our pupils? Well, a lot more probably. So I think just you have to be relentless. You have to, A, identify what's important, and B, make it important for everybody all of the time.